Alright guys, how's it going? Awesome Soul here, and I am back with my little informative series for newer players on how movement methods work and sort of how they mesh with different aspects of the game. So if this is the second episode, if you haven't seen the first episode on wheels, I highly suggest you check that out. But yeah, so as I said, or as you could clearly see by the title of the video, this episode is on hoverblades. So, as I always do, I will start with the overall aspects of them. For the pros, they're fast, quite fast actually. Again, they have a low CPU cost compared to some of the beefier ones, like legs and tracks. They're highly maneuverable, and they're definitely a lot harder to hit with plasma due to the fact that they're not contacted with the ground, so they're defended by, or from, splash damage, I guess you could say. Anyways, as far as cons go, when they're flipped over, controlling the bot can be a little difficult, as well as riding them once they're flipped over can be a little tricky. Even with a flipper, it's hard, or alignment rectifier. It's a little hard to still stop yourself and allow it to actually detect that you stopped. So, moving on to SMGs. For the pros, we have the sheer speed of thruster hovers can easily get the jump on unsuspecting foes. They're very good against plasma and rail units, especially slower ones like the walkers of the tanks. And they're decent against plasma bombers, due to the fact that, again, they're off the ground, which lessens the splash effect, as well as the fact that burst fire can discourage them from attacking you, so they would find another target. Cons: sustained zoom can make the bot a little, or rather inaccurate, due to the fact that it spins simply by itself, and zooming in, you don't really see what your bot's doing. So it looks like you're still aiming straight, however some of your guns won't be shooting, because by the time you zoom out, you're turned around. Next up, we have plasma. So for the pros, it can be can easily provide supportive power for your teammates and get into position quite easily. So it can act as like a bodyguard, basically. You can follow around units easily, and yeah. Also, the ability to gain and lower altitude makes ducking in and out of cover while reloading a very powerful option. So yeah, plasma is very good when it comes to hover. However, due to the slow rotation speed of plasma, while missing a few hover blades, your bot can become unbalanced. Well, when you're missing a lot of them anyways. Well, depending on how you design your bot, but yeah. So, turning and aiming can cause a lot of missed shots. Although, it's not too much of a deal. You can design your bot to be a little more impervious to shots, make it a bit beefier, and add a lot of hover blades in multiple places. Now for rails, which is something I would not advise, and it's rather evident by the fact that you'll rarely, if ever, see anybody playing a rail hover. So the only real pro, I guess you could say, is they're fast and maneuverable, and they can get around into a decent position. But there are other bots with different movement methods, rather, that can get into better sniping locations. So, as I've said before, they're not a very stable aiming platform, as the bot can rotate slightly, and even when you try and stop, it might still move, like, say, down a hill, for example. So that's not very good. It'll definitely throw off your aiming. As well, missing some hoverblades again will make aiming pretty much impossible because you're bouncing all over the place. Next up, nanos. They're very fast, obviously, and yeah, hover platforms are very fast, allowing you to follow around teammates easily without any snags about really boulders, rocks, getting up small cliffs. You can easily get to your teammates like that. And you're able to save teammates that are stranded far away simply by going over sheer drops without too much of a worry, depending on if you've made your bot wide enough so it won't easily tip over. Although it is a bit harder to get up to ridges and mountains where snipers or crashed aircraft might be. Finally, as far as weapons go, we have Teslas. So, its maneuverability makes it perfect for a perfect platform for Teslas, rather. They're able to dart in and out of combat and just simply ram, go out of combat, possibly get healed up and go back in. The con, which is not that big of a deal, obviously you can't do anything about air units, but again, that goes without saying. So for movement complements, we have wheels. It's rather pointless to add wheels to a hoverbot. They don't really add too much to it that just simply going low to the ground wouldn't already offer. Tracks. Due to their great weight, hovers can't really be used at the same time. However, when the tracks are shot off, assuming you still have your hovers left, you'll be able to get around quickly, so this would be good for, say, getting to a medic fast and then healing up from there and then getting back into the fight. For legs, they are... oh, sorry. Jumping in the air will allow you to move around at higher speeds over rougher terrain, but I guess legs are already good for that anyways. So we got wings. They can allow flyers to transition from flight mode to like a ground mode type thing, allowing you to get in and sort of land if you need to be healed up without sort of crashing and having a little bit of a hard time actually getting back in the air. Like taking off, basically. And then, last but not least, we have thrusters. So it's highly advisable you add thrusters to your hovercraft. Wheels, they can utilize thrusters, but it doesn't provide too much of a difference without losing a lot of traction. However, thrusters, since they don't really have to rely on contact with the ground, obviously, thrust adds a lot of speed to your bot. So definitely go with thrusters. Yeah. So, closing thoughts. Currently, in the current meta of Robocraft, hovers are pretty much the dominant movement method. There isn't a whole lot of reason, say if you're going with an SMG or a Nano, there isn't a whole lot of reason to go with anything else. It's a very powerful platform, very maneuverable. It can do quite a lot of things. It can even get up some hills since a recent update. So yeah, hovers, definitely a very viable choice. A very good choice if you're, I don't know, just choosing any movement method, really. I would definitely recommend it. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up this episode. I've been the Awesome Soul. Subscribe if you like what you see. Leave a like, only if you like it. Definitely a lot more informative videos on the way, as I've said before. Anyways, I'm the Awesome Soul, and I'll see you next time.